Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT This Morning.
Now at 6:30 on WKYT News, we have details on the manhunt for a person who police say is behind 2 Central Kentucky robberies.
An admitted killer is spared the death penalty in a Madison County triple murder case.
And putting the pedal to the metal, we'll have details on what is likely a record-breaking Corvette. Those stories and more. Breaking news as it happens. Coming up on WKYT This Morning. Hey, good morning to you. Welcome. It's good to have you with us here on Thursday, October 2nd, as we roll into a big weekend. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Rebecca Smith. Hope that caffeine is helping you rev your engine this morning.
That's right. How about that? The Kentucky-made Corvette. We'll have some details about that. Keeneland's opening day tomorrow. I kind of got ready for that early, I guess, didn't I? And we want to check in with meteorologist Micah Harris, because it could be a soggy day tomorrow at the track. The word is take your umbrella, huh?
Yeah, I think so. And the good news about that, though, if you can pull some good news out of it, it's on and off. It's not a huge, massive rain that's going to be coming on through. So you might get that break here and there. We'll see. Let's check out temperatures this morning, sitting there in the 50s and a few 60s. It's a pretty good feel. It is on the cool side in some locations that's there in the 50s. Frankfort, Cam, I'm not seeing any fog out there this morning. And it's patchy here and there. It's not much, but it's still there. As we head throughout the day, we're staying dry. 85 degrees. It's well above average. We go from 85 today, 55 on Saturday. You're talking about a 30-degree swing in just 48 hours. It's incredible. I'll show you what else this cold front will do to you. Heading off into the weekend, coming up in a few minutes.
We'll get those tough details here in just a little bit. Let's get to the news.
The search is on this morning for the man police say was behind 2 crimes in Central Kentucky.
It started with a carjacking in Winchester, and then police say that person later robbed a Lexington bank. WKYT's Whitney Wetzel is live in Lexington now with the details on this crime alert and how this was uncovered. Good morning, Whitney.
Good morning. Police continue to search for the suspect who they believe may be armed and dangerous. This all started around 2:30 yesterday afternoon in the Walmart parking lot in Winchester. Police say it was there that a man held a woman at gunpoint and stole her car. About an hour and a half later, police believe that same man robbed the First Security Bank in Hamburg. Officers tell us the vehicle description and license plate number used in that robbery matched the vehicle that was stolen in the carjacking. A light blue Kia was found not far from this bank. Police are now looking at the surveillance pictures of the suspect. He's described as a white man in his 50s with a goatee. He was last seen wearing a baseball cap, dark clothing, and jeans. Now, if you recognize the man or have any information, call police. Live in Hamburg, Whitney Wetzel, WKYT.
Whitney, we thank you very much. A former Lexington firefighter has died in a motorcycle crash. This morning, the Bourbon County coroner has identified the victim as 54-year-old Tim Claggett. Investigators say he lost control of his bike last night near Middletown. He died at the scene. Claggett had recently retired as a lieutenant from the Lexington Fire Department.
New this morning, a woman is in critical condition after being shot by police. A Louisville SWAT team was at the home near the Gene Snyder Freeway late into the night. Shortly after 11, the woman told police she would surrender. But when police went inside, they say she pointed a gun at them and they were forced to shoot. A child was in the home at the time but was not hurt. 4 officers are now on administrative leave.
Police have identified 4 men arrested for a Lexington robbery. Christian Roberts, Damon Johnson, T.S. Whitaker, Blackburn, and Jeremy McGee are all charged with robbery. Police say they wore masks while they robbed 2 men of their wallets and phones early yesterday morning on Laredo Drive. Police quickly pulled their car over nearby and found 4 guns and masks inside.
This morning, we're waiting to learn if a group of UK football players will be charged in a recent gun scare on campus. Our news partners at the Herald Leader have obtained surveillance video of the whole thing, and police say the group was seen here and they were involved in firing a pellet gun and BB guns on campus Sunday night. The Fayette County Attorney's Office says charges will not be made public record until a judge signs off on a court date is set. The 4 players involved are suspended from Saturday's game against South Carolina.
We'll keep track of that, certainly, and police are asking for help after a child was found dead in a Louisville park. Police say 12-year-old Ray Etheridge was found in Cherokee Park. They have not said exactly how he died, but they did say he suffered some trauma. Police say Ray went to school just across the river in Indiana. They say his mother checked him out of school early on Tuesday, and he was found dead about 3 hours later.
Ray was the kind of student that has a lot of ability, had a lot of ability, and certainly would have wanted to see him be as successful as possible in his life. So very, very difficult time.
Police say Ray's family is homeless, and they do not think that a family member was involved in the child's death. A man convicted of 3 murders will be eligible for parole in 25 years. Matthew Denholm was given 3 life sentences yesterday in a Madison County courtroom. He told police he was hired to kill Charles Walker in 2010 and that Sansbury Warford was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Denholm also admitted to killing Zachary Flower in 2011.
A handful of children are among a group of people in Texas being monitored for possible exposure to the Ebola virus. Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital in Dallas says the Liberian man with the first case of Ebola diagnosed in the U.S. was sent home the first time he went to the emergency room last week. Doctors say he told a nurse he had traveled to Africa but was not admitted until an ambulance brought him back 2 days later. Meanwhile, we've learned 2 patients with Ebola-like symptoms were recently quarantined in Kentucky. The Herald Leader reports that within the last 5 months, the patients were questioned about their trips to Liberia. They were kept in isolation at the University of Kentucky Hospital while health leaders contacted infectious disease specialists. Neither patient ended up having the deadly virus.
Now 6:37 on WKYT this morning, and the first woman to ever lead the U.S. Secret Service is out of a job this morning. Julia Pearson resigned yesterday after a string of security lapses, including an incident just last month in which a man carrying a knife made it all the way into the East Room of the White House before being tackled. Retired Secret Service agent Joseph Clancy will now lead the agency, at least temporarily. A massive manhunt is still underway in the rugged terrain of the Pocono Mountains for accused killer Eric Freen. Hundreds of law enforcement officers are looking for the self-taught survivalist who was wanted in the shooting death of Corporal Brian Dixon almost 3 weeks ago. And as the search intensifies, Pennsylvania State Police say 2 troopers were injured somehow on Wednesday. They did not reveal exactly how the troopers got hurt. Well, it's good news for many drivers. Lexington city leaders about to cut the ribbon on a major road widening project.
And WKYT's Mark Barber is live this morning along Clays Mill Road with details on the expansion. Good morning.
Good morning, Bill and Rebecca. The city says that Clays Mill Road not only has a large amount of traffic, but they also have a large number of accidents, and they hope that this widening project will give drivers an easier and much safer drive. Now, crews just finished expanding the stretch of road from Twain Ridge Drive to Man o' War, marking the end of phase 2 of the expansion project. Crews are adding bike lanes, turning lanes, widening sidewalks, and adding an extra lane at main intersections to fix safety issues and alleviate heavy traffic. The city says the widening project is important because the area has had a large number of accidents. We're told 363 accidents were reported in a 21-month period. We're told another reason for the expansion project is traffic congestion. The city says about 15,000 vehicles travel the road a day, but that number could jump to 25,000 vehicles in 6 years. Now, the next phase of the expansion project is to widen Clays Mill Road down to New Circle Road. So if that is a part of your morning commute, I'm told that you should put an extra few minutes in your drive time. Live in Lexington, Mark Barber, WKYT.
All right, thanks so much, Mark. If you own property in Fayette County, you'll soon be getting something in the mail. Property tax bills for 2014 were sent out this week. Fayette County PVA David O'Neill says you may notice your bills a little higher this year.
The Board of Education took a slight increase, a little over 3% increase in the tax rate that the schools take. They've taken that just about every year with the exception of one. So you will see a little bit of a difference in your tax bill based on that.
O'Neill says his office also reassessed 7,000 properties in Fayette County this year. That could impact the tax bills for those properties.
And wherever you live, likely to be getting those notices soon. And now to campaign 2014 news. Former presidential candidate Mitt Romney will be making a stop in the Bluegrass today. Romney is traveling to Lexington to campaign for and raise money for U.S. Senator Mitch McConnell, a fellow Republican. The campaign event will begin at 7 tonight. It's at Donnemeyer Farm on Old Frankfort Pike. Election day, of course, is coming up November 4th, a little more than a month from now. And the last day to register to vote in Kentucky Kentucky, and that election is coming up on Monday. General Motors says a new high-performance version of the Chevrolet Corvette can go from 0 to 60 in under 3 seconds.
That doesn't even seem possible.
What about that?
All right, the 2015 Corvette Z06 is the fastest car GM has ever made. The company says it can reach 127 miles an hour and finish a quarter mile in under 11 seconds. How amazing is that? The car that's achieved the time has an 8-speed automatic transmission with paddle shifters and a supercharged V8 engine that puts out 650 horsepower. The Z06 goes on sale early next year and will cost just a little bit under $80,000. If you happen to have that lying around, there you go.
Well, when you come in here in your new Z06, I'll remind you to, not skid out when you leave, right?
I do like yellow.
That was a nice looking car, Kentucky made, right? All right, 6:41 is the time this morning. More news coming up on WKYT this morning on your Thursday. It's so good to have you along.
So some candidates will do just about anything to grab the attention of voters. Wow. Coming up, we'll have a look at the wild and weird side of politics.
Pretty sure I just saw you in the background. It's a dancer, Bill. Pretty positive on that one. 59 degrees there in Danville. We're in 60s in some other locations. Now, in toward the afternoon, it's a summer feel now, but a fall feel and maybe even a winter feel at times toward the weekend. I'll explain that coming up next.
Welcome back in at 6:52. Now a developing news story here on WKYT this morning. Police are at the scene of a crash involving a pedestrian. It happened about 5:45 this morning outside Bluegrass Station on Briar Hill Road at the Fayette-Bourbon County line. We now have a live picture established from the scene.
For the past 2 days, a group of contract union workers have been picketing outside the military facility. This is a live look here at the scene. Police say the man that was hit was picketing at the time. He was taken to UK hospital with minor injuries. Right now, police still trying to piece together exactly what happened. You can see investigators out there on the scenes with the squad cars. About 170 have been on strike since about midnight Tuesday. You see some of those picketers in the background with their signs. A union spokesperson says they are picketing over unfair labor practices and proposed pay cuts.
Obviously, at this point, we do not know if it has anything to do with the protest or if this is merely an accident. We will ask a lot of questions and have the details for you on WKYT.com and our newscast later today. Police think the same man is behind 2 crimes in Winchester and in Lexington. The man first stole a car at gunpoint yesterday at the Winchester Walmart, and then a few hours later, the suspect robbed a bank off Sir Barton Way in Lexington. Police found the stolen blue Kia. They say the suspect should be considered armed and dangerous.
4 teenagers have been arrested in connection with the robbery here in Lexington. Christian Roberts, Damon Johnson, Tyus Whitaker Blackburn, and Jeremy McGee were all arrested in connection with a robbery yesterday that happened on Laredo and Walden Drive. Lexington police tell us that the 2 victims say the group of masked teens drove up next to them and robbed them of their wallets and cell phones. As health officials work to contain the first U.S. Ebola case in Dallas, this morning we've learned details about an Ebola scare right here in Kentucky. The Herald Leader reports that 2 patients with Ebola-like symptoms were recently quarantined at the University of Kentucky Hospital. The patients had recently traveled to Liberia. Turns out neither one of them had that virus.
All right, it's 6:54, and of course we are on top of this situation. We'll update you on WKYT.com about there at Bluegrass Station as soon as we get more details. Also, more about this continuing search for a man who is suspected in a Winchester carjacking and the Lexington bank robbery. The suspect's description, more information about the crimes available right now at WKYT.com. We're closely watching weathers. We head for a big weekend in the Bluegrass. Opening day at Keeneland tomorrow, and that huge Kentucky versus South Carolina game Saturday evening. Micah says it's going to be soggy tomorrow. Take your umbrella along, whatever you do, and much cooler by Saturday. So pull out those sweaters and jackets and check our First Alert weather page for all the latest. It's an ongoing debate right now. Should the UK football players who've been suspended from the game, who were involved in a pellet gun scare on the UK campus, also face criminal charges? More than 60% of those responding say yes, they should be charged. Close to 40%, though, do not think it should head to court. UK Hospital is prepared to deal with Ebola if a case were to arrive there. Doctors and other medical staff have reviewed procedures, and they know how they would function as a team to handle the situation. And Kentucky.com reports this morning that there have been 2 false alarms recently where patients arrived with symptoms after traveling from Liberia. Again, those patients did not have Ebola, but the hospital did take all of its precautions. Exciting countdown to Keeneland's opening day for the fall meet tomorrow. This is the famous racetrack's website, Keeneland.com. CBS This Morning will be following us at 7 with world and national news and, of course, our local updates. Join us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter. And for the latest news anytime, WKYT.com.
Yeah, we're looking outside. Current temperatures holding on to the 50s and 60s. It's a pretty good feel out and about. It's not all that bad. And today's forecast right there at 85 degrees. So we're going to be pretty warm for today. And today's talkers, as you're going off to work, here's what you can expect to hear from everybody else. Talk about how summer feels like summer today. I mean, we'll be at 85 degrees. Then Keeneland, we're talking about some soggy weather kind of moving on in, maybe for those kickoff for the festivals too. Maybe even some frost this weekend, guys.
I say let's focus on the summer.
Yeah, but I think the talker may be the frost, right?
Yeah, no kidding.
Hey, nobody's more up to date than you. Thank you for being with us on WKYT.